What I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to do a quick and dirty tutorial on getting Viture's spacewalk running with the Viture Luma Ultra glasses on my Mac Mini M4 computer. I've seen lots of videos about these glasses and even some of them about how to, or about them using them on a Mac. But to my great frustration, they've never said, how do you do it? How do you do it? They just talk about how cool it is, some of the features of the glasses, but not how to get it going. That's what I'm wanting to do here. I'm hoping that someone can come along later and not have to go through all the headaches that I had to go through to try to figure out how to get it to work. All right, having said all that, I have a known starting point, which is basically nothing. I have the glasses, but they are not connected to anything. I have this cable that came with the glasses. The other end of this cable is connected to a port on the back of my M4 Mini. Now, there are a lot of places where that cable I could physically plug it in, but there's only one where the SpaceWalker works, and that is the single port on the back that has the little lightning bolt symbol, which is the Thunderbolt symbol. It works there. For me, it hasn't worked anywhere else. So that's where the other end of this cable is. On my Mac itself, there's no Viture software currently running. None. This is a known good starting point for me. If I want to run SpaceWalker, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cable and it just magnetizes to there. As soon as that happens, this orange light should come on, showing that the glasses are booting or something like that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over here to OBS and I'm going to show you what I am seeing in the glasses right now, since I just did that. Not seeing much. That's what I'm seeing in the glasses. Just a blank Mac desktop. And that's fine. At this stage of the game, that's perfectly fine. Now what I'm going to do is, let me switch this back to the Mac monitor so you can see what I'm going to do here. So now I'm just back to the main monitor. And down here I have in my taskbar the SpaceWalker application. I'm going to click this SpaceWalker application right now. And you see I get a window that pops up and says connect to the Viture glasses, but I was already connected. It just took it a couple of seconds to, I guess, recognize that fact. And then it got replaced with this new window to select a layout. The default is basically whatever I used last. And I wanted to show you guys this. 3 displays side by side. On my particular Mac Mini, which is not the high end with all the memory and all that, this seems to be a little bit of a problem, and I'll show you that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that, and I'm going to go down here and say launch SpaceWalker, and then I have to go back in OBS to show you what the glasses are seeing at that point. So I just clicked launch SpaceWalker. And it's going to take me a little while to maneuver around here. And now I'm going to select the Viture window. I'm hoping that OBS has this is recording this right now. If it is, then you can see I have a window here on the left. That is actually a duplicate of what my monitor was showing. I have a big white rectangle on the right, or in the middle, I mean, sorry. That is useless. And then over here on the right, this is what my physical monitor is showing right now. A blank desktop without the taskbar down at the bottom. If I go all the way back over here to the left, Now we can see the taskbar again. And notice, if you guys can see my mouse cursor, if I move off the right edge, it immediately goes all the way over to this guy. If we move off this left edge, it immediately goes over here. This big white rectangle in the middle, well, it's an issue. And I think it might just be an issue on this computer. I'm not entirely sure. But what I'm going to do, as soon as I find my mouse cursor again, I'm sorry if you guys are getting motion sickness. Okay, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on SpaceWalker. And under display layouts, I'm going to say 2 displays side by side. I'm just going to click that. It does some flashing around and stuff while it figures out what's going on. Now, if you guys can see this, now I just have the 2 displays. This one here on the left is a mirror of what's on my physical monitor. Everything's identical. This one on the right is, well, a blank Mac desktop. I can move the mouse between those 2. I can move windows between those 2. And it, I don't know why that just grew so big. Probably my fault. But yeah, I mean, this is cool. For me personally, I have fairly old eyes, and it's hard for me to read some of this text. So I don't make a whole lot of use of the SpaceWalker, but there could certainly be some people that would. Let's go back up here to the SpaceWalker and display layouts. And this time, let's do, I don't know what the difference is between ultra wide panoramic and ultra wide 21:9. Let's try this one, ultra wide panoramic. Again, it's going to blink around and figure stuff out. And then I have a single display that's just really wide. And I can change this background. Let me change this background if I can. Theme. So let's put it. I'm sorry, I'm trying to use my mouse with my left hand here, guys. That's not something I normally do. Let's change the theme to Everest. So now the background is Mount Everest. It says there's an option you can do a custom background. So do whatever you want to do with that. To quit all this, this is what I do. And it works. Whether or not it's the official way to do it, I don't know. But what I do to quit all this is I unplug my glasses. And now at this point, I have to go back into OBS and change it so you guys can see what I'm looking at. I got a window that says, hey, connect your glasses. And I don't want to. I want to quit. That's what I'm trying to do right now, is quit SpaceWalker. And now at this point, I'm back to the point I was at when I started this video. Pretty simple steps to get it working, but it was tough to figure it out without any decent tutorials. And I'm hoping that this ends up being helpful for some of you guys out there trying to figure out how to get all this to work, because it is very worth it, in my opinion. It's some very cool stuff. The wonders of modern technology, right? So now I have to go to this window and stop recording, and up in here I have a thing to stop my camera. Stop.